De Valera's real problem, it could be argued, was that he stayed on as Prime Minister, as Taoiseach, for too long after 1945. Because up to 1945, he was a roaring success.
As the rest of the world moved on, De Valera persisted with his dream of creating a Celtic utopia with mythic rural values.
The ideal Ireland that we would have, the Ireland that we dreamed of, would be the home of a people who valued material wealth only as a basis for right living, of a people who, satisfied with frugal comfort, devoted their leisure to the things of the spirit, a land whose countryside would be bright with cozy homesteads, whose fields and villages would be joyous with the sounds of industry, with the romping of sturdy children, the contests of athletic youths, and the laughter of happy maidens.
De Valera's reaction to the modern world was to shut it out. Pornographers whose work was banned included Joyce, Hemingway, Graham Greene. The Irish Constitution enshrined a woman's place within the home. As the post-war economy stagnated, emigration surged above 25,000 a year. Ireland was breeding her children for export.
Emigration, I think, became, for many people, the great mark of De Valera's failure. I mean, emigration was the big lie, you know, that you were building this idyllic society for the Irish, but the Irish couldn't live in it. They couldn't make a living there. They had to go somewhere else.
When De Valera died in 1975, at the age of 92, he already seemed like a figure from another era.
We'd always thought, well, you know, while you were at school, someday De Valera would die and you'd get a day off. And I was in County Mayo in the west of Ireland, which was De Valera country, I suppose. And we were in a pub. The news was turned on and the news came on that De Valera had died. And we were laughing about this. We were laughing about, you know, it was typical of the old bugger that he would die during the school holidays. And yet, when I was there, I just noticed that over in the corner there were these old men who just heard the news, who were actually crying, very softly, very gently, very sincerely, crying over his death. And I suppose it dramatised for me the kind of the gap between our Ireland and their Ireland, and the way in which De Valera himself actually, in many ways, stood for that gap.
In recent years, attitudes to Eamon DeValera have hardened. To a new Irish generation, he seems an austere and distant figure, the dead hand that stifled Ireland's first steps into the modern world. Michael Collins, who died young, glamorous and untested as a peacetime leader, has taken on the pop glamour of a fashionable hero, fueled by the film of his life, which pushed him to the front rank of Irish legend. And yet, Eamon DeValera's powerful presence affects modern Ireland profoundly. When he retired from the presidency 2 years before his death, crowds applauded him as the man who had turned an emotional idea of Irishness into a political reality.
I think the reason people liked him was that he gave them self-respect. He had enormous respect for himself. And that was in a country which had a huge inferiority complex for a very long time. And he told the Irish people that we were an enormously important country. We are an ancient European nation with an ancient and very rich culture. And we did not have to make apologies to anybody about anything. And I think people absolutely loved him for that.